we've already spoken about that during some of the mandatory units, but this unit will give you even a greater understanding of how to evaluate learning programs. The aim of this unit is to enable you to understand some of the key principles of evaluating learning programs and how to use different evaluation methods and data in order to improve the learning programs. Okay? So we're going to look at some of the principles of evaluating learning programs here. And we're also going to look at ways in which we evaluate training programs, right? Some of the principles, what we should ensure that is absolutely present, some of the characteristics of successful evaluation, but also when we should be involving perhaps third-party examiners. And again, principles here, I've noted just a few, but as part of Unit 4, we're going to look into those in a much greater detail here, okay? Again, we're going to cover frameworks of evaluating learning and development programs. One of the most popular frameworks and widely used is developed by Kirkpatrick. It's called the Kirkpatrick model of training and evaluation. You might be familiar with it because it is really kind of very widely used. But again, as part of this unit, as part of this level, we're going to look into what this framework involves and how we can use it to evaluate learning and development programs. As you could see here, we start by measuring the initial reaction of our participants, our students. Then we measure the learning that they have acquired as a result of attending the training program, for instance. We also measure the behavior, whether there has been any behavior change. And if you remember, during the mandatory units, we spoke about behaviorism as one of the models of evaluation. So here you could see it in action. So not only we are going to be evaluating the reaction and what learning has taken place, but also whether there has been any behavioral change. And of course, we're going to also look at the results. So Kirkpatrick model can be applied practically. And we could look into how you could use it when you are evaluating the training and development sessions that you're going to be delivering as part of the practical element of this level. Okay. Another very interesting model which is inspired by Kirkpatrick's model is Phillips' return on investment methodology. Here we also have 4 levels or 4 stages of evaluation, as you could see on the screen, where we are measuring the reaction of the learners or the participants in the training intervention. We're also looking at the actual learning and how the learning has been applied and implemented in the professional context, or for instance, if we're talking about students, whether they have passed the examination with satisfactory marks, results, and the impact of, let's focus on professional organizations for a moment here. So we could look into the impact of the training intervention, of the training that has been conducted on the overall organization, on the performance of the organization. So this is a very interesting methodology here, and you may actually prefer to use Phillips' ROI methodology instead of Kirkpatrick, simply because it is slightly more detailed. But again, as part of Unit 4, we are going to look into other models as well. And what I would like to kind of point in here is that we have a 5th level, which is measuring the actual return on investment. So when you think about return on investment, I would like you to think about the money invested in the training that has been prepared, organized, delivered, and evaluated. So for instance, to give you an example, if you have facilitated a sales training, has this sales training led to an increase of sales within the department that attended this training? So here it would be quite interesting, because you may not necessarily be able to measure return on investment when it comes to if you pursue the teaching route, but if you are pursuing the training route as a career and you are working for an organization in the public sector, every element of training, unless it is compliant training, is actually leading towards improved behavior, improved performance, which then must produce some sort of return on investment, which is financial for the organization. So we could look into that in much more detail at the sessions that are part of Unit 4. We're also going to look at data and how we can collect data, ensuring that we're compliant with the relevant legislation in our own country. Think GDPR, for instance, and how we could analyze data as well, having collected and recorded it. And we're also going to be talking about how we could use data to improve our practice as teachers, as trainers, but also how we could improve the actual learning programs as well. So the topic of data will be key element that is part of this unit as well. And then again, I did mention before that most of the units include some element of you thinking about your own practice as a trainer, teacher, practitioner, and we're going to keep revisiting your CPD log, continuous professional development, again SWOT analysis, and how you are looking at improving your own practice, and also perhaps that could actually come in quite handy if you're looking at reaching the next level in your career as practitioner within the field of education and training as well. So your CPD log, how you're logging, we've collected data, you've analyzed your performance, how you're logging that information, how you're applying SWOT analysis in order to understand where you could improve, how you're looking at some of the feedback that your learners have given you in your overall evaluation of yourself as an effective practitioner, and also when you evaluate the learning program as well. So this module is very much dedicated to evaluating not only the program but also your own practice. Okay, now we're going to move to the 5th optional unit, which